This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 train. The next stop is Wall Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Not Your Advisor. Happy Friday. It is November 8th. We have a lot to cover. If you've seen some changes to the template, I've done that on purpose. I realized with the help of some of my paying subscribers that the episodes were getting longer than the promise of 15 minutes. So I'm going to try to keep it flowing in 15 minutes or less for the full episode. So let's jump right into this. So let's take a look at breadth. We had 1,500 new highs on the NYSE versus 207 new lows. 56% of stocks were advancing versus 40% declining on the NYSE as well. 39% were below its 50-day moving average. 33% were below its 200-day moving average. Now, the Dow was up 259 points, or just above 0.5%. The NASDAQ was basically even for the day, closed up 17 points. The S&P made lifetime highs, congratulations, above 6,010, but it sold off into the close a little bit, and we managed a close at up 22 points, or 0.38%. Unfortunately, all of the Mag 7 were red, except for Tesla. That's going to be a problem. And I think today was maybe an exhaustion day. It just felt like the whole market was just tired from this week's elections. Microsoft was down 0.68%. Apple was down 0.25%. Amazon was down 0.89%. Nvidia was down 0.84%. Google was down 1.3%. Meta was down 0.4%. Amazon was down 0.89%, and Tesla was up 8.19%. It's good to have friends in DC. Looking at sector analysis for the week, it was a mixed bag for the day, but for the week, all of the sectors were green. Industrials led the way, 5.9%. Consumer cyclicals, 5.7%. Technology, 5.7%. Financials, 5.3%. Energy, 4.5%. Communication services, 3.7%. Real estate, 2.6%. Utilities, 2.1%. Consumer defensive, 1.2%. Basic materials, 1.1%. Healthcare, 1.1%. For the one-day Friday performance, it was not too sexy. I mean, technology was red, but to the upside, you had utilities leading the way up 1.3%. Real estate was up 1.1%. Consumer defensive 1.02%. Industrials 0.8%. Healthcare 0.59%. These are not high beta sectors. And to the downside, you have basic materials down 1.5%. Communication services down 0.8%. Energy down 0.39%. I mean, it just felt like this whole week we were all in the U.S. in the Broadway show Les Mis. I know Les Mis is about the French Revolution, but it just felt like we were all against each other and rebellion to the barricades. Maybe I'll watch that this weekend. So just a quick reminder. So I made a post last night about the 50 stocks in the best defended list that I share with the premium members. I actually hadn't looked at the performance in a while, but if you take a look at all 50 stocks, it's up 53% year to date. If you look at the top 30, it's up 84%. If you look at the top 10, it's up 173%. And that's year to date. That's not from the time when I started to talk about the trades, talk about the setups. So that will all vary. But the whole point in this is so that I can teach you what I'm seeing with my own eyes and why I'm seeing them, so that premium members can then go identify it and see it for themselves and start to fish for themselves, hunt for themselves, and find these balance area trades on their own. Totally self-sufficient. So if I get run over by a bus, they're not having to depend on a newsletter for their growth and their wealth. So take a look at that post. Obviously, majority of it is going to be behind the paywall. So if you want access to all of these stocks, I do include one example, which is AppLovin, in that post. I'll include it there. But the reason I'm really bringing it up is that I'm also releasing a early bird Black Friday discount. I do this typically twice a year. Sometime like July 4th holiday, and then now during the November Thanksgiving / Christmas holiday. So if you want to take advantage of it, it's 35% off. It's really easy to get to if you're listening to this on the podcast and not online. It's notyouradvisor.com/BLK, like, the shorthand for black, BLK. So notyouradvisor.com/BLK to get that early bird discount. It does end midnight, November 30th, New York Eastern Time. I repeat, it ends November 30th, which is a Saturday, midnight, New York Eastern Time. So take advantage of that. I'll remind you every day, so you don't have to rush. But you should start to think about ROI. It comes to less than 89 cents per day. Hopefully it's of value. I'll link the testimonials as well, so you can go take a look at that. For the what was strong, what was weak list, there was a lot on both sides. So I'm not going to waste your time and go through all of them, but I'm going to go through a lot of them. So in the S&P, to the upside, you had Axon Enterprise up 28%, Fortinet up 10%, Insulet up 9.3%, Tesla, as I mentioned, 8.1%, Motorola Solutions 7.3%, FICO, Fair Isaac Company, the credit score company, up 7.1%, EOG Resources 6.07%, Corpay, ticker symbol CPay, is up 5.7%. Amentum Holdings up 5.2%. Molson Coors, the beer company, 5.01%. Palantir, 4.3%. Eli Lilly, 4.3%. Amarin up 4.2%. Vistra Energy, 4.25%. Expedia, 3.8%. Train Technologies, 3.7%. Centerpoint, 3.5%. Salesforce.com, 3.5%. GE Aerospace, 3.3%. Allstate, 3.3%. So Costco, 3.2%. So there was a lot to the upside, but there was also a lot to the downside. So let's jump. I'm going to skip over the NASDAQ because there's a lot of duplicates. Again, if I had a magic wand, I would say you can only be in one major index. If you're in the Dow, you can't be in the NASDAQ, you can't be in the S&P 500. But there's just too many duplicates. What was weak in the S&P? Wow, Akamai. I think they were down yesterday too. Today they're down 14.4%. Airbnb 8.7%. Or Arista Networks 7.1%. Moderna 6.8%. Enphase Energy 6.6%. Dow Chemicals 4.7%. Freeport McMoRan 4.5%. Deere 4.18%, SMCI 4.16%, Paramount Global 3.9%, Baxter International 3.9%, Ansys 3.7%, Centene 3.7%, Estee Lauder 3.6%, Caterpillar 3.5%, Dollar Tree 3.3%, Wynn Resorts 3.3%, DuPont 2.8%, GE Healthcare 2.6%, MGM 2.6%, Dell 2.5%, Molina Healthcare 2.3%, On Semiconductor 2.4%. I'm losing my voice. Corvo 2.4%. So there was a lot in the red, as you can see as well. So for free members, obviously you'll have to upgrade for all of these lists, but premium members, that's all in the show notes. Free members, get some rest. I want you all to focus on macro. What do I mean by macro? I'm talking about liquidity. Majority of the liquidity in the market is the Mag 7. You want to look at the bond yields. You want to look at TLT, the 10-year, the 2-year, precious metals, Bitcoin, the macro stuff, the forest, not the trees. Don't be looking at small things like GameStop and, things like that. Get some rest. I suspect we are going to have more volatility next week. I'm not sure if it's going to be upside or downside, but we really felt like we were exhausted going into this weekend. So I'll see you all after the weekend and after the Monday session. Premium members, please stay on. I have about 30 charts to walk through today. That's my train.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.